Frontier AI models are getting locked down. Today, we're unpacking why Meta, Anthropic, and OpenAI are making their best tech harder to reach and what that means for your next product. We'll also hit a critical privacy warning that every developer needs to hear. No BS AI briefing brought to you by Proactive AI. Welcome back. I'm your host, Vikash Sharma, and this is where builders get straightforward AI news without the fluff. First up, Meta has just launched something called Muse Spark. Now, this isn't an API you can just jump on and start building with, and that's the crucial point. Muse Spark is Meta's proprietary multimodal model. It includes advanced features like visual chain of thought and tool calling capabilities. In plain English, that means it's not just looking at images and text, it's reasoning through them, almost like a step by step thinking process, and it can call other tools to get tasks done. The performance numbers are pretty wild. It scored 52 on SBB Bench, which is a benchmark for code generation compared to Llama 4's 18. That's a massive leap in coding capability. This is the first big release from Meta's Superintelligence Labs in 9 months, right after their $14.3 billion scale AI acquisition, showing how important that talent and tech integration has been for them. For builders, the interesting part here is the signal. Meta has a seriously capable new model, but it's strictly private preview only. Here it's a powerful internal tool right now, not a public API. So if you were hoping Meta would keep pushing the boundaries of open access with their absolute best stuff, this release tells a different story. It's a clear indication that the most powerful models are increasingly staying under lock and key, at least initially. Next, we've got Anthropic, and this story is fascinating. Their Claude Mythos model exists, but they haven't released it. Why? Well, it reportedly found thousands, yes, thousands of software vulnerabilities, including some long-standing flaws in critical open source projects like OpenBSD and FmpEg. Think about that for a second. An AI model that's so good at finding bugs, it poses a security risk just by existing without patches being coordinated. Access is currently limited to about 50 partners through a very hush-hush initiative called Project Glasswing. And that's to ensure those patches are coordinated with major vendors before the model ever sees a wider release. For builders, this isn't just a cool tech demo, it's a peek into the near future, where AI could literally act as an autonomous bug bounty hunter or a security auditor on steroids. It highlights the immense power AI is gaining in understanding and exploiting complex systems, but it also underscores the real tangible safety and ethical considerations that come with deploying these frontier models. This isn't hypothetical safety, it's active, real-world security patches being applied because an AI found the weak spots. Also, in the news, OpenAI is introducing a new ChatGPT Pro tier. This new tier will cost you $100 a month, and it's clearly targeting intensive developer use. What do you get for that? You'll get 5 times the codex usage compared to the existing Plus tier, full access to their Pro models, and unlimited use of their instant and thinking models. And if you jump on it soon, there's a limited time offer of 10 times the codex usage through May 31, 2026. For founders and engineering leaders, this is OpenAI actively segmenting their user base. They're saying, if you're a serious builder running multiple projects, hammering our APIs for code generation with Codex, or needing rapid-fire responses from instant models, we've got a premium offering for you. It's a pricing strategy that acknowledges the diverse needs of their user base, separating casual users from those who are embedding these models deeply into their workflows and products. So, if you or your team frequently hit rate limits or need more horsepower, this might be a necessary budget line item to consider. Moving on, Canva, the design platform, is making some big moves. They've acquired 2 companies, SimTheory and Orto. This isn't just about adding new design features. Canva is expanding from its core design offering into AI-driven end-to-end marketing automation and agentic workflows. What does that mean? It signals a much deeper vertical integration. Instead of just helping you design a marketing asset, Canva wants to help you manage and automate your entire marketing process using AI agents that can, for example, plan, create, and execute campaigns with minimal human oversight. For product leaders and indie hackers, this is a strong signal that platform plays are consolidating. Incumbents like Canva aren't just adding AI features, they're buying entire companies to bring advanced agentic capabilities in house and expand their value proposition across an entire workflow. If you're building a niche marketing automation tool, you need to watch these larger players carefully as they're trying to own the whole stack. And finally, something every builder needs to pay close attention to. A significant privacy issue has surfaced regarding a Vercel plugin for Claude Code. This plugin, designed to help developers, has been found to collect full prompts, device IDs, and even bash commands across all projects. And here's the kicker, it uses what's described as a simulated consent UI, which is a deceptive way of making you think you're agreeing to something, and it seriously lacks granular permissions. For any founder, product manager, or engineer, this is a massive red flag. Your prompts often contain sensitive business logic, proprietary code snippets, and even your customers' data. Bash commands reveal your project structure, dependencies, and internal operations. All of that being collected and potentially sent off to a third party without clear, explicit consent. That's not just a privacy breach, it's a potential intellectual property disaster. It's a stark reminder that the convenience of AI development tools can come at a very steep cost if you're not vigilant about what data they're actually collecting and transmitting. The access landscape is tightening, and that's why I want to deep dive into this idea of the closed source shift. We've seen Meta's Muse Spark remain completely private, Anthropic's Claude Mythos withheld even after finding thousands of vulnerabilities, and OpenAI now segmenting developers with a new $100 pro tier. Together, these moves aren't isolated incidents, they're signaling a consolidation of capability behind increasingly gated access. So, what exactly happened? Historically, the early days of AI, say 2023 to 2024, saw a strong emphasis on broad API access and even open weights for many models. Then 2024 to 2025 witnessed rapid gains in the open source community, with models becoming incredibly powerful and accessible. But here we are in April 2026, and the narrative has shifted. We're seeing private previews, powerful models being withheld from general release, and a clear move towards developer tiering. The bleeding edge of AI is becoming a more exclusive club. Why does this matter right now? This isn't just some theoretical industry trend. For founders, product managers, and engineering leaders, this shift impacts fundamental strategic decisions. It affects your choice of model for a new feature, your budgeting for AI services, and even your long term competitive strategy. If the very best, most performant models are increasingly closed, proprietary, and potentially expensive, it changes the entire calculus for how you build products. You can't assume easy, cheap, or even any access to the absolute frontier capabilities. This could lead to a bifurcation of the market. Those who can afford or gain access to the closed source superpowers, and those who innovate on more accessible open weight models. Who should really care about this? Well, if you're a founder, your core product strategy might depend on this. Do you build on top of a proprietary API and risk vendor lock in, or do you invest in fine tuning open source models? If you're a product manager, you need to think about feature viability and cost structures. Can your product afford the $100 a month OpenAI Pro tier for every developer or for every API call? For infra engineers, this means multi-model strategies are becoming mandatory. You'll need fallbacks. You might need to explore local inference capabilities for open models to maintain control and cost efficiency. And for indie hackers, especially those on a tight budget, the increasing cost and decreasing accessibility of frontier models could push you even harder towards leveraging and contributing to the open source community. How would I think about this as a builder? My mental model here is to view these frontier closed models as a kind of luxury good or a specialized consultant. You can access them, yes, but it's going to be premium, highly controlled, and likely reserved for very specific high value tasks where their unique capabilities truly shine. For the vast majority of your day to day needs, for 80% of your AI workloads, open source models or even slightly older, more accessible proprietary models will likely be perfectly sufficient and, crucially, far more cost effective and reliable in the long run. Don't get me wrong, the capabilities of models like Muse Spark and Claude Mythos are mind boggling. But for a startup, for an indie hacker, for most products, what really matters is sustainable, predictable access. This shift also creates a huge opportunity for those who can differentiate by building strong applications on open source models, perhaps even creating their own data modes or fine tuning advantages. The risk, of course, is vendor lock in, the unpredictable nature of pricing changes, and access restrictions that can shift without much warning. So ignore the hype that every new flashy model will be instantly available to everyone. It simply won't be. And don't believe the narrative that open source is somehow dead. It's just becoming a different yet increasingly critical layer of the stack. My no BS take on all of this isn't purely about safety as some noble altruistic goal, though security is clearly a factor with Claude Mythos. Commercial motives are very much at play here. These labs are building incredible, potentially world changing technology, and they're figuring out the best way to monetize it and control its distribution. For builders, this means you need proactive planning, not reactive scrambling. Don't bet your entire product or your entire engineering stack on a single proprietary API. Diversify always. If you want one practical takeaway from today's episode, here it is. Review your AI tooling data collection practices. This is directly inspired by that Vercel plugin story. Here's how to try it in under 30 minutes. First, list out every AI related extension, plugin, or integrated tool you're currently using. Open your IDE, whether it's VS Code, JetBrains, whatever, and systematically go through your installed extensions. Don't forget any browser extensions or other desktop apps that integrate AI capabilities into your workflow. Get a full inventory. Second, for each of those tools, quickly check its documentation or its marketplace page for keywords like privacy, telemetry, or data collection. You're looking for explicit statements about what data is sent to external servers. Does it say it collects prompts, code snippets, usage data? If the information isn't clear, or if it's buried deep in a generic privacy policy, you should operate under the assumption that it collects everything. Assume the worst case scenario. Third, make a decision for each tool. For any plugin that handles sensitive code, proprietary business logic, or customer related prompts, you have a few options. You can disable it entirely, especially for your most critical projects. Or if the convenience is just too high to give up, consider only activating it in a sandboxed, non production environment away from your core intellectual property. You need to weigh that convenience against the very real risk of data leakage. Why is this specific experiment worth your time right now? The Vercel plugin example is a stark real world reminder that the ease of use offered by many AI tools often comes with a hidden cost to your data. It's not just about staying compliant with regulations like GDPR or CCPA, it's fundamentally about protecting your intellectual property, your product ideas, and your users' privacy. A quick audit now, taking just half an hour, can prevent a major data breach, a competitive leak, or even a PR nightmare down the line. You absolutely don't want your next killer product feature or a crucial piece of internal logic accidentally streamed to some third party server you know nothing about. Take control of your data footprint. That's it for today's No BS AI briefing. If this helped, follow the show in your podcast app and share it with one builder you know. And if you've got questions or topics you want covered, connect with me on LinkedIn and send them over. See you in the next briefing.